Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-ord and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Lucha Underground review. And it was all about a Lucha wedding on tonight's episode of Lucha Underground, Season 4, Episode 12, Till Death Do Us Part. And it was the wedding of John E. Mundo and Taya, the mayor and first lady of Slamtown. We also did get two matches, Jack Evans versus Exo Licious in a no mas match, and our first match, Jake Strong versus Drago. And as you can imagine, with all wrestling weddings, everything went to hell in a handbasket real quick. But still, on the whole, an enjoyable episode of Lucha Underground. The wedding, I think, really made the episode for a multitude of reasons, which we'll get into later. But, partner, what do you think of tonight's installment of Lucha Underground?
Absolutely, man. As far as the matches go, they were okay, albeit not great. But the entire night really kind of focusing on the Worldwide Underground and the developments leading up to, up and including the wedding. Absolutely brilliant. I loved everything about it.
All right, with that said, I know we usually get right into our Lucha Underground review, but I know we, also have a first segment, Heat of the Night. And I just kind of want to invoke that segment real quick, just to air a nitpick I had with the No Mas
This is
match.
the first. You guys have got to realize this is the first time that we've even had a Heat of the Night segment for Lucha Underground since like the beginning of season 2, I want to say.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we invoked it a bit earlier this season because I know this season's had its hits and its misses, but I just wanted to very quickly articulate a nitpick. I know there was a lot of criticism about the Exo Licious Jack Evans match, like why did it even need the no mas stipulation, this and that, but putting all that aside, I really don't like the dynamic that clearly Exo Licious is the Technico to Jack Evans is Rudo in the situation, and yet the babyface needed all this assistance to win. When PJ didn't come out, Johnny didn't come out, Ty didn't come out, like Worldwide Underground did not back up Jack Evans at all in this. Right. He was taking care of his own business. Exo Licious, when he was in a compromising position not once but twice, especially towards the end of the match when her back was sprawled on the chair, and it seemed like it was going to be like another 450 or maybe a double snap or something because he said he was going to snap her neck. I did Jack Evans. Joey Ryan was like hooking the leg, and Evilise again made a run to get Exo Licious off the chair. And it's just, that left a bad taste in my mouth because, like, I like Exo. I want to make that clear. Like, I think they're very athletic. I like the look. I'd like to see them in more cinematics and stuff, get a character fleshed out. But I don't like that it's a baby face, that you're giving off the appearance to me that Exo Licious can't fight their own battles. And I don't like that, especially if they're a baby face. And they needed the assistance of, again, both Joey Ryan and Evilise in this thing. And, if that's to kind of say that this is another strange bedfellows team, I'm cool with that. But I think you could have facilitated that in a way that still made Exo Licious look good.
You know what, dude? I think this kind of does, in my eyes, this comes back to the issue of this being a no mas match in the first place. Because if this would have been a match that had rules, then Joey Ryan and Evilise coming out would have made sense because it could have been to prevent Jack Evans from breaking the rules. But in this case, it's an no mas match. There are no fucking rules. Nothing Jack Evans was doing was illegal. Maybe unethical, maybe immoral, but not illegal. So all you're doing is coming out to protect somebody from something that isn't even illegal. Or, that's what I'm saying. Like, if this would have been a match that had some kind of structure to it, some kind of rules to it, even if it would have been, like a more of a maybe like a 2 out of 3s or a submission match or something along those lines. And it felt, it could have been a submission match. But the thing is, submission matches don't have like the hardcore anything goes rule set. The rule is you can only win by submission, but I think you can also lose by like DQ and stuff like that. So, I just feel like maybe even there is like more of a hardcore thing implied there because the whole idea of being only able to win by submission, maybe you can't win by DQ. I don't know. But the idea is there were no rules to this match. So everything Jack Evans was doing was technically legal. So even though it was unethical, immoral, whatever, that doesn't matter because technically Exo Licious had all of these things at his disposal as well as Jack.
And you saying that all that, which I completely agree with. It makes me think that if this season wasn't so constrained and they had more episodes to play with, and that's where I do have to sympathize with Lucha Underground, is I guarantee you that some stories will probably feel rushed because they don't have as many episodes to play with as even compared to last season. Because they only have, the 22 episodes to play with this time around. So if they would add more space, I guarantee you Lucha Underground probably would have either done another one-on-one match or a return of the tag match or whatever. And maybe it would have even ended in a DQ because Jack Evans was on his bullshit. And then Ivelisse and Joy Ryan would have done the same thing. They would have come out to help. But then No Mas, they probably would have had Exo Licious going on their own. But I think, again, that was more done to set up now the next story of, at least in my mind, Ivelisse, Joey Ryan, and Exo Licious as a trio for the trios division. But I don't like that they kind of segue into that story by sacrificing credibility, Exo Licious's credibility as an aspiring, singles competitor, in my mind.
Right.
So,
and I guess you even kind of mentioned this. Another way to kind of skirt your way around this, looking like Exo can't fight his own battles, would be to have Worldwide Underground guys come out to try and help Jack, and have Ivelisse and Joey Ryan be more like out there to even the odds than to tip the odds in Exo's favor. Exactly.
So I think that this match is kind of a snapshot, a microcosm of Lucha Underground season 4's bigger problems. And again, I'm not even saying that like, oh, you gotta fix this shit, because I think it has to do with like El Rey and a bunch of things that are out of their control. I think it's the number of episodes they've got, and with it being more self-contained with only like 22 episodes as opposed to like 39 or 40 something, the pacing's going to be off. Everything I think is going to be off, and you get things like this, which again aren't horrible, but more head scratching if anything else. So yeah, I really just wanted to kind of have a bit of an extended discussion about that. But with that said, is there anything that you wanted to kind of bring to the table, Ashton, before we formally get to our review?
No, man. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm going to complain about Jake Strong every time he shows up, but I don't think that that's worth a heat of the night or a nitpick or anything like that. So, into the review.
All right. Then let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. And we open up, if I'm not mistaken, with a Worldwide Underground cinematic. And
yeah, Worldwide Underground talking wedding, and then Joey Wrestling shows up, and we find out that Joey Wrestling, who we were more familiar with prior as Joey Mercury, he is Johnny Mundo's best man, and Ricky Mundo is very not okay with this. And then we get the old electric guitar playing, and Ricky tries to join in, and Johnny, shuts that shit down and hands Ricky's air guitar over to Joey, and we get a much better air guitar.
Yes, we do, because Ricky doesn't fucking belong. This is why you're bullied. Okay. It was the fun cinematic. Great to see Joey Wrestling. Really set the tone for the wedding. Excitement's in the air. But, of course, Rosa is still in Ricky's ear, trying to get him to do evil things and to kind of sabotage the wedding tonight. And we'll see if Rosa succeeds in manipulating Ricky to do what she wants him to do. That remains to be seen. But that's all I've got to say about this cinematic. So unless you have more to add, we can move on.
Yeah. All right. Well, next we find out that Famous B is still announcing for us. And then we get into our first match, which, of course, Famous B still announcing when we get another Jake Strong match, because our first match of the night is Jake Strong versus Drago.
Yeah, and what did you think about this match, man? I'll have you go first on this.
The early going was really frustrating to me because I'm used to the fast-paced Lucha Libre action, and most of the first, 5 or 6 minutes of this match was just Jake Strong going for rest holds, and it's just like, wow, I didn't know I tuned into an episode of Monday Night Raw here on a Wednesday night. But eventually it does pick up. We get the crazy stuff on the outside. Strong ended up back body dropping Drago over the barricade, and once they get back into the ring, Strong hits the old Vader bomb and then ends up winning with the Strong Lock, the old ankle lock there that we used to call the Patriot Act in WWE. So,
yeah, I mean, what it comes down to for me and why I love Lucha Underground is, I'm not expecting everybody to put on 5-star classics in the ring if you have a character that can compensate. I never look to a guy like Joey Ryan and be like, oh, I'm going to get a great match out of him. I may get a fun match or whatever, but when I think great and this really highly technical, highly competitive, whatever, I don't think of Joey Ryan. That said, Joey Ryan has a character that I really enjoy, or at least he did, with the whole corrupt cop thing and stuff like that in prior seasons. And then it kind of culminated in that 5-0 street fight, and that was brilliantly done. I really don't know anything about Jake Strong. I know Hypothesis pointed us to an interview he did on the Lucha Underground YouTube channel, and it's like, oh, only the strong survive, and with every ankle I snap, I get stronger. And to me, he just kind of comes off as a white bread Pentagon in a way, but without any of the charisma. I don't even really care for Pentagon Dark. You know that. I'm kind of over it, but I won't deny that Pentagon Dark still has this charismatic air about him that makes the crowd gravitate. And if they're trying to make like an antithesis to Pentagon or like a counterpart that could give him a great match, like I'm not really interested in that story if that's where they're going. They may not be going there, but I just really have a sinking feeling that it's going to be Jake Strong that beats EDA for the Gift of the Gods and then takes it to Ultima Lucha Quattro. I mean, that remains to be seen, but just to keep the focus on the match, I'm with you. It was just another like okay match, I guess. Jake Strong wins by submission. Afterwards, he goes back to applying the hold, with the nunchucks in hand, and Aerostar comes out to make the save. So maybe it'll be a tag match. Maybe it'll be a handicap match. Jake Strong will beat two guys at once, which is going to kind of be sickening because they're not just two jobbers. They're two very talented guys, Chicago and Aerostar. But that's really all I can say about it right now. So unless there's anything you want to add, we can move on.
No, man, we can move on. Up next, we got our second match of the night, Jack Evans versus Exo Licious. This was the No Mas match, and it was the thing is, like, they really went out of their way to make it feel personal, but it only really felt personal because Jack Evans kind of made it feel more personal on the mic beforehand. Like, he really got up in Exo's face and said, jokes like you don't belong in this business and shit like that. And, Exo spear is kind of what caused the bell to ring to begin with. So, I don't know, man. Like, I get that. It seems like they're kind of trying to play this up as like, oh, Jack Evans is bigoted and hates, the exoticos and stuff like that, but it just really doesn't come off as personal enough to warrant this kind of match to me.
And that's understandable. And again, I think it comes back to, I definitely think there's a pacing issue with this season, which, I get frustrated because, we talked about like how just there aren't like as many episodes, and I just wish El Rey would like give them like a standard set of episodes. Like I would.
Well, and the really shitty thing is, apparently on the last day of tapings, El Rey came up to the producers of the show and said, "Hey, we want more episodes." Like, no, fuck you. We taped as many episodes as we had planned. We don't have the time or the budget to be able to plan it out so that we can add more episodes to this season when we already have like these constrained stories already like filmed and lined up and shit. Like, that's not how it works. We can't just film more episodes for the hell of it. So yeah, like really it's a lot of it is on the network for fucking them over, but at the end of the day, they're doing what they can with what they were given, and it's still, I can understand wanting to get through this and then, wanting to make it feel like a complete beginning, middle, and end story, but it still does feel very superficial, I guess I should say.
No, and I think you're absolutely right in that assessment. That's why I feel bad for Lucha Underground, because I feel like they're kind of working with one arm tied behind their back, and I think if this is like a season that we're used to, like say with like 40 some episodes.
Man, why do they get fucked over on the even seasons? Like season 2, they had 26 episodes. This season it's 22 or 23. I think it's 22. Like, what the hell is up with that? Why does El Rey not just say, like, listen, we know you guys are the most popular show on our channel, so here is your normal 39 or 40 episodes that you're used to. Just keep producing the magic that we know you're capable of. But no, this season it was, we're going to play hardball and only give you 22, bitches.
Yeah, I don't care for it at all. I think there should be a set number of like episodes that you're guaranteed.
I can tell you for a fact that the people that actually write and run Lucha Underground wanted to have 52 episodes. They want to have a whole goddamn year worth of Lucha Underground, and your fans want it too, but the goddamn network is fucking you over.
And see, now imagine if they had like a 52-week schedule, this story could have had so much more time to breathe. And it probably could have gotten to a point where we would have been excited to see Exo Licious and Jack Evans go at it. And because of structural issues that go beyond the pen, so to speak, this is the product you get. Now, to the performers, Jack Evans and Exo Licious, I like the performers involved in this. I like Exo Licious. I feel like if I really got more time to know them and stuff like that, you know, they may even make it on a 5v5 one day. You know, there's definitely something magnetic about them for me. And Jack Evans' athleticism has always been undeniable. So, you know, you bring those elements together, you know, fine, that's great. The problem is that, you know, again, when they don't have a story that's really been allowed to breathe, your talent alone can only do so much. Yeah. And then I feel like this, because again, maybe I could be totally wrong with everything I'm saying right now, and I just want to make that clear. I think we always make that clear to our audience. But I am very much getting vibes that a trio of Evilise, Joey Ryan, Exo Licious being telegraphed here. And it was done a bit haphazardly, again, at the cost of Exo Licious's credibility of being able to stand on their own 2 feet. You know, match was fine. I actually will say, and again, it's disappointing that the story really didn't get to breathe on its own merits, because I actually really like that this No Moss match seemed to be more wrestling based than the other one. You know, they did a submission exchange at one point between the label lock and, you know, Jack Evans did an ankle lock. Exo was trying for an arm bar. Then Jack was going for the go-go plata, you know, the move he used in the freaking tag match originally that got all this going. So I appreciated the emphasis on wrestling, particularly.
Yeah, submissions. I really enjoyed that submission exchange that they had, man. I even have that in my notes here. I literally have in my notes, like, they had a really cool submission exchange.
Yeah, and it's just really sad that, like, you get great moments like that. And I think it's just, you really can't get your finger on the pulse, you know, with Evilise coming out and then Joey Ryan coming out. And then, like, you got to, again, think more broadly and think, well, they've only got 22 episodes. And, yeah, it's just – and then what really sucks for all of us Lucha Underground fans is that, like, we crave Lucha Underground, but now we know that, like, we crave a Lucha Underground that sees El Rey and everybody behind Lucha Underground in sync with each other. And that clearly didn't happen. Like, that clearly, they were on 2 different wavelengths. When they're able to meet in the middle and, like, you know, they're like, okay, you need all this, you've got all this, I feel like both parties benefit. Now, after getting Lucha Underground, not only are we going to go back to the withdrawal, but it's going to be a bit more of a jaded kind of withdrawal, because it's like, well, I can't wait to get to an odd-numbered season. This way you guys fucking do it right. You know, it's just, it really sucks. But Exo Licious wins with the cross arm breaker. Joey Ryan explains himself, you know, to Evilise and everybody after the match, and they all, like, you know, raise Exo Licious's arms. And again, I do think that's a new trio. I don't know how far they'll get, if they'll win the titles or whatever, because we do know that the Reptile Tribe, Cobra Moon, friggin' Daga, and Jeremiah Snake Ew are the new trios champions. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I thought this match was solid. Again, you know, we already kind of talked about, you know, the issue I have with it, so I'm not going to keep harping on it. I guess we can move on, right?
Absolutely, man.
All right. Well, after this whole, you know, the post-match celebration with Exo, Evilise, and Joey Ryan and stuff, we do get another Worldwide Underground segment, which, again, I love the kind of show revolving around this group, given that the biggest segment of the night, the wedding, is kind of focused on them. Jack Evans kind of crawls past them, and you know, PJ kind of notes, oh, I guess he won't be attending tonight. And then Ricky starts to say some shit, and you know, he calls the rings stupid. He says, oh, these stupid rings, and Mundo gets pissy with him. He's like, you know, it's a good thing my 2 best friends are here, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to handle your shit. Obviously referring to Joey and PJ. So yeah, this whole segment was just kind of setting up Ricky being bitter and miserable and a dick.
Yeah, it's like, I love Johnny just telling Ricky, the rings aren't stupid, you're stupid. Can you just do what I add? Like, telling you, man, intern should have been me. Should have been me. But yeah, thankfully, PJ and Joey had Johnny's back. Somebody fucking has to, because Ricky's just slacking. And yeah, that's really all I can say about the cinematic, so we can move on.
All right, man. Then after this, we do get to the wedding. The boys come out first. We've got, you know, Mundo and PJ and Joey. And then the girls come out, and it's cheerleader Melissa showing out for the girls, coming out first. And then the beautiful Brenda, and then Taya. And then, you know, before we actually get a chance to kick off the wedding, we get a backstage cinematic with Ricky Mundo. You know, he just kind of lets Matanza out of his holding cell. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. You know, he just kind of gets these bolt cutters and just, you know, unleashes Matanza, all the while Rose is kind of egging him on. Do it, you coward. So clearly we know who Ricky answers to. I thought Johnny Mundo was his one god, aka Ricky on the correct path, but now he's just being a deviant and following other entities that aren't nearly as superior to Johnny Mundo. So I'm personally disgusted, you know, as a follower, as a fervent believer in the Church of Mundo, that this would happen. And yeah, now Matanza's on the freaking loose. So thanks a lot, Ricky. But keeping going back to the wedding and now kind of looking at that as a whole, what were your thoughts on the wedding, dude?
Yeah. Once we actually get to the wedding, it was amazing because Famous B basically was the priest here. And
yes, and he did such a great job.
He did. I love Famous B and Brenda. Brenda was the highlight of the wedding for me personally. But, you know, Famous B does the old, if anybody has any objections, speak now or forever hold your peace. And the only voice that we hear is Antonio Cueto. And he comes out and he, unlike his son, actually likes the Mundos and offers taco platters to everyone.
Hooray! Tacos are the best.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So, yeah, Antonio Cueto has nothing but good things to say about this beautiful couple. And then he backs out, and then we get our vows, which were beautiful. And John was just making sounds, like I said in live reactions, that would make dying cats jealous throughout the entirety of these vows. And then Matanza shows up because it was like they both said, Johnny said I do. Taya said C. And then as Famous B was about to be like, I now pronounce you man, and then he sees Matanza and he goes, oh shit, what's that?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love Famous B, man. Brenda, though, like, we gotta go back and just listen to the shit Brenda says because her voiceovers are great. Like, oh hi, Grandpa. So good.
He's pretty handsome, but the doll's kind of dirty. Yeah. Oh, God.
And of course, she calls him handsome because who does he model his look after?
Johnny fucking Mundo.
Never forget it, Ricky. You owe him everything, you piece of shit.
Ricky, you should have been fucking swallowed. Jesus Christ. And as far as this wedding is concerned,
I mean, I know James has been railing on postpartum abortion for a while, but never have I been more pro postpartum abortion than I was tonight with Ricky Mundo.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you guys, I hated Ricky from day fucking one. And like
the irony is that should be you. You should be the one getting inside the Worldwide Underground faction. That should be you.
I know my destiny was taken from me.
Ricky Mundo was a character originally based on you. I'm convinced.
You know what? I'm laying down the gauntlet right here. Ricky, I'm fucking challenging you to Ultima Lucha Quattro because if nobody else is gonna fucking bitch slap you, I'll bitch slap you myself. Fucking challenging him to Ultima Lucha Quattro. Okay, we'll even do a Cero Miedo Man. I know that's a Pentagon thing, but fuck it. I'll put you through a fucking glass table. You'll never bother Johnny or Taya again. Piece of shit. So yeah,
it can be a TWitWoW Miedo match because Ricky Mundo fears TWitWoW.
You know what? I'm gonna tweet Antonio because he's responded to my tweets before. There's a precedent. I am gonna tweet at him after this broadcast. I'm gonna tell him I challenge fucking Ricky Mundo to a match at Ultima Lucha Quattro. Winner gets to be the internal Worldwide Underground. And then once I decisively beat Ricky Mundo, which I mean, come on, is a fucking given. I have a 4-pack. Then I'll be the intern of Worldwide Underground, and then I'll be able to study under the tutelage of God and attain my own obliques. It's the best fucking plan I had since I convinced myself to start looking in the mirror every morning to see something truly beautiful. So as far as this wedding goes, it was magnificent. Like Johnny and Ty, thank you. Like Johnny and Taya's existence. I gotta say, dude, and I mean this both sincerely and just like, you know, as a Worldwide Underground mark, I love these vows. They were genuinely touching in their own weird way, but I love that they had like that Worldwide Underground spin on them. And like, how did Johnny put it exactly? Like, Taya, I love you more than the sight I see when I look in the mirror. And that's a lot of love. That was great. Taya said, you know, you and I, we can win together no matter what, and we'll get gold back on that, you know, sexy waist of yours. So yeah, these vows were great. The Matanza interruption, why I like it is, well, one, nobody was sacrificed, so my heart is happy. And two, like, damn. I mean, this, if wrestling, and when we say this a lot now, if wrestling is a kind of theater and it's so visually based, we had some great visuals here. For me personally, I want to field it over to you, like what you thought the best visual was. For me, the best visual was the capture suplex that Matanza did to Mundo through the table. I was like, damn, that was
No, dude,
nasty.
to me, the best visual was Matanza picking up Famous B, wheelchair and all, and dropping him on his back.
Yeah, like, dude, just based on visuals, Matanza looked like $1,000,000 here.
Yes.
And just destroying
And
Ty.
I'll also add Mundo standing up for himself and his bride and trying to really go after Matanza, only to get chokeslammed through a table, was pretty glorious as well.
Yeah, I mean, PJ getting chokeslammed through a table was great.
What? Wait, yeah, that's right. PJ was the one that got chokeslammed. So what happened to
Well, no, that's why I said that was my favorite visual, dude. He got capture suplex through the table, like over the rope.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah. So I fucking love that. And yeah, I just thought that Matanza looked fucking great here. Ricky laughing the whole time with Rosa, that was an off-putting visual. And
dude, I hope Mundo disowns him after that shit.
Dude, he fucking better. I'm telling you, I'm available. I'd be the best intern ever. I bet all these people would vouch for me, man. I'd be the best intern ever for Worldwide Underground. But unfortunately, Ricky still has that spot.
If kissing Johnny Mundo's ass is a part of the job, you would truly be the best at it.
Thank you, Ashton. I mean, normally I take umbrage with your face, but I mean, we have a grander cause here at work.
Normally I wouldn't so blatantly insult you, but that wasn't really an insult because everyone knows that you appreciated it.
Exactly. But no, man, I love that, like, we got to make Matanza look dominant. And, you know, because I don't even know what the last wrestling wedding was that we've seen. Because I know I've seen Edge and Lita try and do one, Kane and Lita before that.
Oh, crap. Yeah, the last, I mean, was it the Aces and Eights wedding with fucking, what's her name, Hogan?
It might, I know that there were, like, when I say, that's why I qualified it at the last wrestling wedding that we've seen, because I think I remember that wedding. I also do think I remember Laurel Van Ness and Braxton Sutter, I think it is. I did watch that.
I don't know if this was more recent than that or longer ago than that, but didn't Brittany and the fucking creeper dude, Samuel Shaw, didn't they get married at one point? I don't know.
They might have, but I mean, I guess the point I was trying to make was, of all the wrestling weddings that we've seen, like, this is actually going to go down as one of my favorites. I thought the comedy was great. Brenda, like you said, had me in the stitches. Aw, thanks, Grandpa. Like, god damn it. So yeah, man, I thought everything about this was great. I'm still convinced that we're probably going to get Ricky versus Johnny at Ultima Lucha Quattro. I don't know in what kind of match. I don't know with what stakes are going to be in the match, but I'm willing to give it a chance, man. I really am. Like, this is definitely one of the defining long form stories of the season. And this is the only one where the pacing actually feels pretty damn good, at least for me. I don't think any of it's really been that rushed. And yeah, because I mean, even from the first episode, they introduced the doll, and you know, they had like Ricky even try and pin Johnny at the behest of Rosa, and then Johnny, of course, put Ricky down, and the tensions have just been escalating ever since. So by the time we get to Ultima Lucha Quattro, which I think is when the match should happen, and given that it's a shorter season, it probably will happen then. It's definitely Ricky versus Johnny.
Oh, geez. I don't think that's worth an Ultima Lucha match. I think Johnny should...
I do.
No, I think Johnny should just squash him on the way to Ultima Lucha. That does not... Ricky does not deserve an Ultima Lucha match with Johnny. That is way too much, way too rich for Ricky.
No, I think it's warranted. I mean, because this isn't the same Ricky Mundo. This is a guy that's being manipulated and taken to a darker place.
I know, but he's still, like, as a fighter, he's still jobber status. Like, he's never done, he fucks everything up in the ring. Like, that would be an Ultima Lucha squash match. There's no way.
I think they're going to find I'm already ready for it, and I think they're going to find a way to set the table. But my point was, what point was I even making? Well, no, just that I think the pacing, given that it's a shorter season, has been has been pretty good for this compared to, again, like Exo Licious versus Jack Evans, for example. And like I think I even said this in the last podcast, legitimizing Ricky as a heel and stuff like that. I'm curious what kind of heat he'll get, because I still feel like Mundo's kind of a tweener, but he's more on the babyface side in recent weeks. So yeah, I'm personally convinced it's going to be an Ultimate Lucha Quattro match. And if it is, I think it's definitely very narratively driven, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping Mundo goes over and finally beats the shit out of Ricky, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, that's how we
honestly, to me, if Ricky Mundo ends up with an Ultima Lucha match at all, it would almost have to be against like an underling, like PJ or something like that.
I mean, maybe, because I could even see like the underling matches happening on the road.
Or I mean, hell, Taya seemed the most pissed off tonight. Maybe we could get Taya versus Ricky.
Maybe. Again, I could see all these matches though on like, because is Ultimate Lucha just going to be a two-parter, or do you think it's just going to be, because I don't even know how they're doing it.
It's a two-parter. It is a two-parter. Episodes 21 and 20, or 21 and 22, I should say.
So I'd say, I mean, hell, I'd love if we started, you know, maybe on episode 14, because I know next week is going to be Mundo, Pentagon. From episode 14 onward, you know, maybe you do get like the underling matches out of the way, because it would only be like PJ versus Ricky, Taya versus Ricky, and then Ricky versus Jack, because Jack still hasn't left. Jack's still a part of this. You know, you could do that, and then maybe just do some like cinematics and stuff as padding. You know, maybe see Johnny kind of get some wins, because I don't expect him to beat Pentagon Dark next week. I'd freak the fuck out if he did, but it's just not happening. So you're going to need to give him some wins to get his momentum back. And then boom, you know, Ultima Lucha Quattro, either episode 21, 22, whichever one you wanted to do it. You do the match, and I don't even know what the right decision would be. I know as a fan, I'm always rooting for Johnny Mundo, but Lucha Underground may want to make like a big heel here in Ricky and have him go over. So that all remains to be seen. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I mean, that's the end of the episode. That's it. That's, you know, the whole episode ended with Matanza putting Taya through a table that had the big wedding cake on it. So that was like the last visual that we had, and that was crazy. But yeah, that was the last thing we saw.
Yeah. So with that said, nothing else you want to say about the wedding?
Yeah, no.
All right. Before we get into high spots, low shots, just very quickly going into plugs. Our all Lucha Underground content ever playlist in the description box. So if you're new to our Lucha Underground coverage, or just new to Lucha Underground period, first of all, welcome to your new favorite wrestling podcast and potentially your new favorite wrestling show. And if you're looking for the quickest education, like what do I need to know as quickly as possible, our playlist has got you covered. We've done Luchador Spotlights, rewatches of every season, live reactions to every season, and, you know, reviews of every season. It's all right there in the playlist, so check it out. Follow Ashton and myself on Twitter. As far as my Twitter, my pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. I mentioned that because Q&A is tomorrow, August 30th, and we go live at 7 p.m. EST with Q&A. You can submit your Q&A questions to my pinned tweet. If pinned tweet doesn't do it for you, you can always DM me on Twitter. You can go to the TWitWoW Facebook, be a like when you visit it, and inbox us with your questions there. You can comment on this video when it's done processing with your questions, or you can comment in the TWitWoW Discord. I'll elaborate more on that in a second. You're permitted up to 4 questions per Q&A, and you can divide them up however you want. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule. Immensely important. We just got through a very crazy summer that's like slowly kind of dying down. You know, we're shifting gears. But even tonight, for instance, we made a call on the fly during live reactions that we're going to be doing our Mae Young Classic 2 bracketology at 11 p.m. EST tonight in place of an NXT review. So you're always going to want to be here or keep your finger on the pulse of Ashton's Twitter for TWitWoW content announcements. So be sure to follow him. His pin tweet, again, is the schedule. You'll get all the dates and times of our content. And he also makes announcements about any additions or subtractions of any of the content that we're doing. That aside, just shifting gears, the Teespring store got a lot of merch available, including I'm Not Finished With You. And you're going to want to get in on our Kevin Owens because he's a father, damn it, when he inevitably comes back better than ever. We've got those shirts plus many more at the TWitWoW Teespring store. Please check it out. And then finally, of course, the Patreon. Guys, we here at Team TWitWoW, we have a lot of projects. You know, we like to do a lot of content. We like to produce. And, of course, it's always made easier by your help and your generous donations. The big thing we are doing currently are SmackDown Live and 205 live reactions in place of Progress Live reactions, which we are retiring for the time being. Now, the way it works is if you want 205 live reactions, it's $40 or more a month. If you want SmackDown live reactions, the goal is $80 or more a month. And if you want them bundled, obviously 80 plus 40 is 120. So same as the progress goal used to be, 120 for both 205 Live and SmackDown live reactions. I think both shows have really been in kind of a stride this month, and I would like to see if it can be kept up for the month of September and kind of give that content to you guys. So if you want to make sure we can do it, the best thing you can do if you haven't already is donate $3, which will give you access to the TWitWoW Discord, a Discord that sees some of the most passionate TWitWoW fans convening together to talk about wrestling, video games, music, Game of Thrones, and everything else in between. Again, only $3 for it, and you can submit your Q&A questions there as well. You can make content requests there when you've accrued enough money up to do so, which to get into that, if you stay in the Patreon for X amount of time, I always like to use the formula 10 months at $3 a month, $30. You can cash that in for a live reaction to a 3-hour show, and you can make that request right in the Discord. So it's all right there for you guys. I think it's an amazing opportunity. I always call it a win-win-win-win for everybody involved. So please, if you haven't yet, please consider donating to our Patreon and joining our Discord. It is immensely appreciated. With that said, we can get into our final segment of this review, high spots and low shots. And I'm going to say my low shot, and it's with a heavy heart that I give her this low shot, the First Lady of Slamtown, Taya, because not only was her wedding ruined, not only was she busted open courtesy of a Matanza headbutt, she got the wrath of the gods and choke slammed on top of her wedding cake. This was a horrible, horrible night for the First Lady of Slamtown, and you best believe Ricky Mundo will pay for this. So Taya is my low shot, unfortunately.
All right, man. Well, I can't really beat that, so I'm just going to go with the next most obvious choice, Jack Evans, because he lost in a match against somebody that he didn't respect, and then he, because of losing, was unable to make it to the wedding, which, you know, you could see that as a silver lining, but I'm pretty sure he wanted to be there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand that logic, man. Moving right along, my high spot, not too many strong winners on tonight's episode in my mind, but you know what? I gotta be fair. You know, I'm actually gonna be a bit different. My high spot is actually gonna be Rosa, because she convinced Ricky to fucking ruin the entire wedding. And it's very clear to me with these cinematics that she's the puppeteer pulling the strings that are causing Worldwide Underground's dissension and ultimate breakdown. So if you're Rosa, the evil possessed doll, you had a fucking great night tonight because you're still in Ricky's ear. And when he had a bit of doubt, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, you were able to coax him into doing what you wanted him to do, and that's unleash Matanza. And nobody's going to suspect Rosa because who the fuck suspects the doll? So this is probably a first in TWitWoW history, but I'm making a freaking doll my high spot. And you know what? I think I absolutely have the grounds to do so. So, sir, I submit to you that high spot. Who is yours?
And I don't know if I'm going to be able to out-clever you on this, so I think I'm just going to kind of take the low road here and make my high spot Exo Licious for the big win over Jack Evans. You know, I had Jack Evans as my low shot. Might as well take Exo as my high spot. Why not?
Makes perfect sense to me. I mean, not only did Exo Licious get the win, but now they have friends like, and I because they've got Evil East watching their back and Joey Ryan.
Yeah,
Joey Ryan,
and that's another really big positive too, is that this could also lead to Exo joining up with them and potentially vying for trios titles.
Exactly. So Exo Licious's path may be getting golden pretty soon, and so yeah, that makes all the sense in the world to me, man. And with that said, is there anything else you want to say about Lucha Underground tonight?
I don't think I have anything else to say, man.
All right. Well, with that said, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinator commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment when this video is done processing on this video. Talk to us. What do you think about the Savage Jake Strong? Are you more optimistic about this character than I am? Are you just meh on the character altogether? What do you think about Ricky potentially going evil? And here's a question for you that seemed to be a matter of spirited debate between Ashton and I. Could you buy, with the way the story's going, Ricky and Johnny having a match on the Ultima Lucha Quattro card? And I'll get the dual perspective, both as a fan and as somebody that just appreciates the art of wrestling and likes to see a story, mature and progress. Who should go over in that match if you think it warrants an Ultima Lucha spot? Be sure to leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. Again, talk to us. I will hammer it in the same way Dario hammered Cisco's fucking skull in with that Red Bull because it gives you wings. And like the video, guys. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. So leave that like and subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't. And for all of you guys that are already subscribed and that really love what we do, and you're like, man, I always hate being late to when John and Ashton go live with, maybe 5 Fave 5s or a SmackDown live reaction or anything. Like, I hate being late to this. I like being a part of the live chat because it's crazy. I like hearing John and Ashton's thoughts on stuff. I like hearing, John Squee and Ashton do, whatever. Like, if you don't want to miss any of that, I've started to say lately to click the bell icon to get notifications whenever we go live with a video so that you don't have to miss a second of all this TWitWoW goodness between myself and my coordinated commentary here. So please, guys, click the bell icon if you haven't. And with that said, we will see you in a little bit for our Mae Young Classic 2 bracketology. Oh, this is going to be so freaking good, guys. I can't wait. And with that said, tune in and peace out.